Hello.
So now you are audible.
Uh, and, uh, on behalf of Indian Institute of Heritage, I welcome all those who have joined.
So if I may just introduce the whole thing
Definitely.
once.
Yes, yes, yes. Please.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mehek Sejwal. I am an assistant professor from the Department of Paleography, Epigraphy, and Numismatics at the Indian Institute of Heritage, and it is my privilege to welcome you all to today's session of the Heritage Dialogues by the Indian Institute of Heritage. It is a premier institution under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, that has been dedicated to and has played a pioneering role in advancing heritage studies through interdisciplinary teaching, research, and academic outreach since 1989. Part of the Institute's outreach programs is this online lecture series, Digital Heritage Dialogues by Indian Institute of Heritage, and it is dedicated to celebrating India's rich cultural legacy through conversations with distinguished scholars and experts, owing greatly to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sachidanand Joshi Sir, whose vision, support, and guidance have been central to making this lecture series a reality. And today's lecture is being organized by the Department of Paleography, Epigraphy, and Numismatics, which is the India's first department who offers a master's degree program in these disciplines and is now opening new pathways for the study of some of the most important sources of our past. Its importance lies in the countless inscriptions, manuscripts, and coins preserved in museums, archives, temples, and archaeological sites across India and the world, many of which remain unexplored, hiding secrets to the political power, social life, languages, faith, and artistic traditions of the past. Through rigorous teaching, field based learning, workshops, and research initiatives, the department is helping preserve these traditions of knowledge while equipping scholars to unlock the histories embedded in scripts, inscriptions, and coins. Today's lecture is titled Persian Epigraphs Sources of Medieval History and Art. It will explore Persian epigraphs as vital historical sources for reconstructing the history of medieval India, demonstrating how inscriptions illuminate voices, events, and contexts often absent from conversational narratives. It is my privilege to also introduce Dr. G.S. Khwaja, who is the former director, Epigraphy Branch, Archaeological Survey of India, Nagpur. He is an eminent scholar of Arabic and Persian epigraphy, medieval numismatics, early Islamic calligraphy, and architecture. A postgraduate in Arabic and Persian literature, he pursued his postgraduate studies in journalism and even completed his PhD from the Nagpur University. He is not just a distinguished scholar, and he is a distinguished scholar. He's also a professional calligrapher who in a remarkable way continues to contribute to the field in through various ways. On behalf of the Indian Institute of Heritage and the Department of Paleography, Epigraphy, and Numismatics, I extend a warm welcome to you, sir, and I request you to kindly deliver your lecture now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this laudable introduction. I welcome all those who have joined this lecture. Uh, Let me first you inform that this is the second lecture in series about the epigraphs, and this lecture is based on the sources of medieval history. Among all the sources, medieval epigraphs and numismatics, and also the manuscripts are the main source of medieval history. You should know, you must be knowing that during medieval period, the Arabic and Persian language came to India, and those who came here as the rulers, they were of the people of Arabic and Persian language. So in this country, when they started building their edifices, mosques, tombs, palaces, forts, they also placed inscriptions on them. and inscriptions are the most authentic and imperishable source of history. So now we'll have a glance over the epigraphs of different dynasties and the importance of epigraphs and how they give pieces of information to already known history, and sometimes they add new pieces of information to the already written history. So I will start uh, with these words that before my lecture, Dr. T.S. Ravishankar, who was the who is the former director of Epigraphy branch at Mysore. You must be knowing that there are two branches of epigraphy in Archaeological Survey of India. One is at Mysore, dealing with Sanskrit and Dravidian inscriptions. And another branch is located at the center of the country at Nagpur, which deals with the Arabic and Persian inscriptions and coins. So I belong to that branch, and I learned so many things being in the branch as the stalwarts like Dr. Desai, N.M. Gadam, Mr. Hussain, and other epigraphists were there. I seek knowledge, primary knowledge about the inscriptions. So you must be knowing that when uh, British rulers came to India, they had their headquarters at Calcutta, Kolkata. So a uh, society was formed there, which was called Asiatic Society of Bengal. So, to know about the culture and languages of our country for better administration, British officers started their work to gain knowledge about the inscription. So Asiatic Society of Bengal had different meetings, and people elsewhere informed that society about the existence of some inscriptions at different edifices and monuments. So they started copying, bringing it, and studying it. So the studies in the epigraphy was started way back in 1784, and the Sir William Jones was the person who started study inscriptions. So earlier, the proceedings of the Asiatic Society of Bengal were published, which were the precursor to the Epigraphia Indica, the official journal of Archaeological Survey of India. And another thing happened, there were so many surveys created in Calcutta. One of them was Archaeological Survey of India, which was formed in 1861, and Alexander Cunningham was the first Director General of that Archaeological Survey of India, that department. So by that time, the systematic study of the epigraphs was started. And when office came to Delhi, so it was thought, they saw to it that one office is sent to the Mysore and another at Nagpur, so that being at the central place, the epigraphist working at Nagpur will be in a position to go to the north, south, east, and west. So basic work of the epigraphy branch was to go places, discover inscriptions, copy them with the help of a technique called estampage making, bringing those estampage, those inked rubbings to the office, decipher them, and first report them, notice them in the annual reports, and very important, out of those inscriptions, for example, the dynastic inscription telling history of that period or a particular geographical quarter, they were edited in the research journal Epigraphia Indica or Epigraphia Indo-Muslimica. So it was not the Epigraphia Indica or Epigraphia Indo-Muslimica which started uh, publishing inscriptions. Before that, uh, in Delhi, if you see that Mirza Sangeem Beg, he wrote one book in Farsi. The title was Sairul Manazil. Sairul Manazil, which was published way back in 1820 CE. After that, the famous scholar and founder of the Aligarh Muslim University, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, published his book Asharus Sanadid on the Persian and Sanskrit inscriptions of Delhi, particular to his research work, and the book was pertaining to and was limited to the city of Delhi and environs. After that, Bashiruddin Ahmad, a scholar from Hyderabad, with the help of the Nizam of Hyderabad, he published Waqiyat Darul Hukumat Delhi in 1990. So this was the situation when scholars and historians were working on epigraphs and publishing their books, and also published the readings, the text of the Persian epigraphs. But in Archaeological Survey of India, 1907, 1907 and 8, Epigraphia Indo-Muslimica's first issue was published by Archaeological Survey of India, and in which the epigraphs with their photograph of the estampage, we can say with the facsimile, text, transliteration, translation, and the historical background of the persons mentioned in that particular epigraph. So this was the strategic and systematic study of the epigraphs, which threw light on the already written history, confirmed the already written history, and added few information to the already written history. You must be knowing that in the definition of epigraphs, we always teach to the students that epigraphs are the most authentic, imperishable, reliable source of history. So you may be knowing that when there were no books, when the paper was not invented, I'm talking about before the 8th century. Paper was invented in the 8th century, and people started writing books, handwritten books. But before that, there was no source to know history. For example, the Ashoka's history, the Emperor Ashoka's history, is known to us only because of his epigraphs on the rocks he left erect, and we knew about the wars he won, about the spread of the Buddhism, about the patronage given by Emperor Ashoka to Buddhism. So that way, epigraphs become the most authentic source of history. After that, when people started handwritten books, when the paper was available, the other detailed information was coming in the books. But even now, by the side of the books, even parallel to the handwritten books, there were inscriptions we provided information about a particular geographical quarter, about a particular dynasty, about a particular area. They gave information about the medieval history. Uh, we must know that earlier the rule of sultans of Delhi was not below the Narmada river. They were the sultans of Delhi. But we get information about those sultans and their administration, their rulers, their genealogy with the help of the inscriptions only. After the Mughal conquest, they came below Narmada Valley, and they had their rule in Gujarat, in Berar, and in Khandesh, in Malwa. So there also we knew so many things with the help of the epigraphs. So I will start that what epigraphs say. The epigraphs say about the rulers, their genealogy, and also say about the then socio-economic history, and also say trends in the literature of Arabic and Persian, and also say about the migration of the people from Turkey, from Uzbekistan, from Iran, and Afghanistan, who came to India and got a say we can say very lucrative job in the court of the rulers here, and they contributed at their own level. We find so many inscriptions composed by the poets coming from Persia. So this information is very valuable in compiling the history of Persian literature in India. And another information contained in the inscriptions is the genealogy of a particular king, because there are so many dynasties rule uh, in India. So they give the name of the father of a king, name of the grandfather of a king, or titles of a particular king, because uh, before ascending to the throne, kings adopt uh, titles, titles, and uh, in the say after a few minutes, I will make it a point to give information about few epigraphs which has added some new information to us, which is not written in the books or elsewhere. The epigraphs are the only source of history. There were at least three rulers before us which were not recorded in in the chronicles of the history, but the information is given by the epigraphs only. Another thing which epigraphs give us is the chronology of the different styles of calligraphy. You must be knowing that the art of calligraphy is such an art that without its mention, the history of medieval period cannot be say complete. Every aspect of the cultural life was influenced by the art of calligraphy. Epigraphs were written in different style of calligraphy. The coins, the legends of the coin were imprinted in different styles of calligraphy. Then manuscripts, handwritten books were written in a particular style of calligraphy. Then some monuments were decorated with the epigraphical bands of different styles, which added new glare and new, we can say, beauty to the monument. So they became the part of the Islamic architecture. So that's why epigraphy affected a lot. On the fabrics, even you can find calligraphy. On the utensils, even you can find calligraphy. On arms and armors, you can find epigraphs written or imprinted on the blade of the sword, on the guns, on the helmet, even. So that's why I would like to claim that the art of epigraphy influenced many parts, many aspects of the cultural life in medieval India. Then there were dynasties which are mentioned in the epigraph and their reigning period. At so many occasions, there was a confusion about the reigning period of a king, but the epigraph solved it. So they were the earlier they were the Turk sultans who, for the first time after the war of 1192 at Tarayan, Shahabuddin Muhammad Ghori was the sultan, first Turkish sultan of Delhi. But he didn't came to Delhi. He remained at Multan only. But he sent his deputy Kutubuddin Aibak to come here and rule on his behalf. So on the throne of Delhi, Kutubuddin Aibak came and started ruling from Delhi. So when he came to Delhi, he started building edifices. For the first time on this particular soil, I am leaving apart the history of the Arabs uh, who came with the help of ships to the western, say, western shore of our country in Kerala. I'm leaving apart. I'm talking about the, say, well-defined dynasties started ruling on Delhi. So Qutbuddin Aibak built Quwwatul Islam Mosque, which still exists in the Qutub Minar complex in Mehrauli, Delhi. And there were inscriptions put on it. And he also constructed a victory tower, which is called Qutub Minar. Now, with the help of the Archaeological Survey of India and its team of conservators, it it is still intact and can be seen. So many, say, thousands of visitors and pilgrim tourists come to see Qutub Minar and appreciate the art of constructing it. So, with the help of the Turkish Sultan, epigraphs tell us that for the first time, the arch, dome, and minaret came to this land. So, first example of the mosques is, of course, Quwwatul Islam Mosque, but it was not built on arcuate system. It was built on trabeate system. A square lintel was there, but when Qutbuddin Aibak could not complete the work of Qutub Minar, he started 1198, but he could not complete. So after death of Qutbuddin Aibak, El-Tutmish, Sultan Shamsuddin El-Tutmish, taken up the work of construction of Qutub Minar, he completed. But when Shamsuddin El-Tutmish died, he was buried behind the behind the uh, mosque. So that was the first building which has arcuate system. If you go to the tomb of Qutub Minar, you can find his northern wall decorated with the epigraphical bands, and it shows you that that was the first structure built behind the Quwwatul Islam Mosque with the arcuate system was the tomb proper of Shamsuddin Ertugrul. So after that, it is part of the history that after the Turkish Sultan came the Khalji dynasty. During Khalji dynasty, the you know that Jalaluddin Firoz Khalji was the founder of the Khalji dynasty, which is known by the in epigraphs of his time. But his nephew his nephew, Alauddin Khalji, murdered his uncle and grabbed the power and sat on the throne of Delhi. He built the Alai Darwaza just in front of the Qutub Minar. So this was the second dynasty. First, Turkish sultans, and among them there were few slaves who were purchased and given the lofty posts in the court. But after the death of the king, few slaves also played the role of the king. They ruled from the throne of Delhi. Among them was Iltutmish was again uh, uh, the son-in-law of Qutbuddin Aibak was a purchased slave, and Balban also was a slave, but he ruled from the throne of Delhi. After that, the dynasty of the Khalji Sultans came. So in the epigraph, we can find the mention of Khalji Sultans. After that, the Tughlaq Sultans. After them were the Sayyid Sultans. After them were the Lodi Sultans. Then Mughal came in 1526, but within the reign of Humayun, another small dynasty of sultans came of the Suri Sultans, who came from a Vili Pathan from Afghanistan came and grabbed the power, and he saw to it that Humayun was driven out from India and took asylum in Iran. So Sher Shah Suri, his son Islam Shah, and his grandson Adil Shah ruled, and then again Humayun, with the help of the kings, Safavi kings of Iran, came back to India and regained his say country and started ruling from Purana Kila. Hardly he ruled for 1 year and died, and after that Akbar came to the power. So we are talking about the Mughal dynasty. But in southern part, during the Tughlaq periods, they were regional governors. They declared their autonomy and built their own regional sultanate at Gujarat, in Deccan, the Bahmanis, uh, in Bengal, they were Bengal sultans. In Mandu, they were Khalji sultans. And in Khandesh, they were Faruqi sultans. So they were pre Mughal regional dynasties who ruled in different parts of the country. But new five dynasties came out of the Bahmani Sultans. When Bahmani Sultans, regional governors, declared their autonomy, they were Qutub Shahis, Adil Shahis, Warid Shahis, Imad Shahis, and Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar. So we get information of different dynasty in the epigraph. So I have just now noted down those dynasties which left the inscriptions over here. Uh, I'll tell you a very interesting thing that the day uh, Shahabuddin Ghori came to the power, he didn't issue coins with the Arabic legends. This particular thing is recorded in the coins of the period of Sultan Shahabuddin Ghori. He didn't issue the coins with the Arabic legends. Otherwise, it would have created a chaos among the subject as well as in the market. So already under circulations were of the Tomara coins, which had portrayal of Lakshmi on one side and name of the ruler on the river side. So Shahabuddin Ghori, with the political acumen and wisdom, remained that Lakshmi on this upper side of the coin and wrote or called his mint master to imprint his name in Nagari characters as Muhammad bin Sham, so that the subject, which was, say, uh, including some people who didn't know Arabic and Persian, they were Sanskrit speaking people, he allowed them to understand that their ruler has changed. He speaks a different language. So slowly he started introducing Arabic and Persian legends on the coins so that the subject are acquainted with the ruler's name, ruler's religion, ruler's language. So for the first time, people came to know that there is a language which is spoken by their ruler, is written from right hand to left hand. For the first time, the people of India, who comprises most of the people speaking Persian, most of the people speaking Sanskrit written in Devanagari characters, which was written from left to right. So for the first time, the Arabic script was introduced in this country, which is always written. Arabic, Persian, and Urdu language is always written from right hand to left hand, from right to left. So when they built mosques, forts, palaces, and the tomb of their elders, they put inscriptions on them. So those inscriptions, when they were put on the edifices, the contemporary prevailing style of calligraphy was adopted. And I tell you that epigraphs are the only source which told us about the systematic chronology of the styles of calligraphy which came to India. And here, calligraphers, those who came from Persia, those who came from Turkey, those who came from Arabia, and also under them, few calligraphers were trained who were from India only. They had their origin in India. So they started writing inscriptions on the monuments. And you know that the calligraphers didn't make the epigraph. There is a system that on the stone, calligrapher writes the text, whatever has been decided. In the dynastic inscriptions, the scholars and the people who knew so many things about king and its titles and the say literature, they composed it and given to the calligrapher so that he writes on the stone. He writes on the stone, and the work of the stone cutter starts. So the stone cutters were given instruction that whatever is written on the stone, you leave those words and and scoop out with the help of your chisel and hammer the material. So generally, the medieval inscriptions are found in relief. Relief. There are three forms of the inscription you can find elsewhere. One is in relief. If you can touch them, you can feel that they are a little above the surface. Another form is that inscriptions are engraved below the surface. And the third form is inlaying, as you can see on the facade of Taj Mahal and the facade and central mihrab of Jame Masjid, Delhi. So these are the three forms. With the help of our stampage making team in the both epigraphy branch and regional offices of epigraphy and epigraphy branch Lucknow and Madras, and the main offices Mysore and Nagpur, they have got a stamp page mechanic or the people well versed with taking the stamp pages with the help of the dabber and the brush and the handmade paper. So the inscriptions executed in relief and engraved, they can be taken in the form of the stamp pages. But the inlaid inscription cannot be copied on paper. The only way left is photography for them. So that way, the most of the inscription, I tell you that in Mysore branch, there are inscription more than 1 lakh because the study on the inscription includes Sanskrit, other regional languages, Dravidian, four languages, and many more languages. So they have more than 1 lakh stamp pages and photographs stored in their office at Mysore. But at Nagpur office, I tell you that there are 15,000 inscription collected from length and width of our country, because the staff there right from the beginning to this point, the epigraphical assistants and epigraphical officers, assistant superintendent, deputy superintendent, superintendent, they go on an exploration tour, go rural pockets of our country, they discover inscriptions, copy them, bring that stamp page to our office, decipher them, and crack the data stored in one inscription, and they notice it. We cannot call it publishing. They notice it in the respective annual report, because in that annual report, the work done in one what you can say financial year is recorded and given. So they give the list provenance of a particular inscription, where it has been found, and the of course the village and tehsil, district and the state, and the place where it is found. For example, it is on the central arch of a building, it is on the facade of a building, it is on a platform, it is on the gate of the fort. The provenance is given. Then after, they give dynasty, the king, the date. Of course, date is in Hijri era, and it's equivalent in the Gregorian calendar, and language, script, and in the last column, they give the gist. What exactly the epigraph says. So I tell you, just now I told you that in the epigraphs, in the medieval epigraphs, the dating system adopted is the Hijri calendar. Generally, nearly all the inscriptions of medieval period, maybe in Arabic, Persian, or lately in Urdu, there are so many inscriptions, they are also bilingual. So they are dated in Hijri calendar. Hijri, very interesting part of, say, we can say the history, that when Prophet Muhammad migrated in 622nd year of the Gregorian calendar, he migrated. He forced to migrate. He migrated from Mecca to Medina. There he reached and settled down in Medina. So the caliphs after Prophet Muhammad, the second caliph Omar, started the Hijri calendar, and uh, in they decided that it is the most significant incident of the Islamic history, because after the Hijrat, Islam started flourishing. The message of Islam was sent to different kingdoms at that time in the 7th century. So they decided to start their calendar from the point of the Hijrat, migration from Mecca to Medina. So such a way, the Hijri calendar came to existence. So they have got different months, say Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Sani, Jamadul Awwal, Jamadul Sani, Rajab, Shaban, Ramadan, Shawwal, and Zil Hajjah, the month of Hajj. So 12 months were given, and in a Hijri calendar, there could be 29 days or 30 days in a month. So it is a lunar calendar, and the Gregorian calendar is a solar calendar. Here also, in Vikram Samvat and Shak Samvat in India, they are also lunar calendars. But in Hindu calendar in India, after 3 years, when difference of a month came in, they add a 13 month and adjust the calendar to the point which was before 3 years. So that's why we can see that Hindu calendar is adjusted, because our country is an agrarian country. Here we should have our festivals based on the crops our farmers have. So Hijri calendar is a lunar calendar, but it is not adjusted. After every 36 years, a difference of 1 year comes in the Hijri calendar. So while we copy inscriptions and we want to make out the equivalent in the Gregorian calendar, there is a system, and there are ephemeris in which the equivalents of the dates are given. With the help of that ephemeris, we calculate the equivalent of a particular year, and we give in which year that particular inscriptions was fixed on a particular monument or particular say building. It is not that uh, inscriptions are found only on protected monuments. It is not like that. Inscriptions are found on even on the unprotected monuments like mosques, like some homes, some hospices, some forts which are not protected. And also in the graveyard, there are headstones and sarcophagus on which the name of the deceased is written, which gives the information about the name and his father, his profession, his post, the date on which he died. Also, sometimes it is given the date of his birth and also his origin, where he comes from. So that's why in so many graveyards we could find in Hyderabad, in Delhi, in Agra, there were people coming from Iran and settled down here after they were given a lofty post in the court of king ruling here. So I told you about the Hijri calendar we generally found in our epigraphs, and you cannot say that only Arabic, purely Persian, purely Urdu inscriptions are found. Here we I could copy so many inscriptions which were bilingual, which were trilingual, Arabic or say Persian, along with the regional language, Arabic and Persian along with a regional language, because the ruler knew very well that whatever he wants to write on inscriptions, it should be read, must be read by all the members of his subject. So there were people knowing Persian, but there were also people not knowing Persian and Arabic. So they were uh, uh, those inscriptions were executed in two languages, bilingual inscription. So we find bilingual, trilingual inscriptions also, and, and there was a time when came up the princely states. For example, the princely state of Hyderabad and princely state of Lucknow, they had their say official language as Urdu. So we find so many inscriptions during the time of Nizams of Hyderabad and from the Nawabs of Lucknow, we find so many inscriptions written in Urdu. So we get inscription in Arabic, Persian, Urdu, bilingual and trilingual also. So I told about the dating system. So I'll tell you about the different styles of calligraphy. In the beginning, when Turkish Sultan came to our country, the foremost and earliest inscriptions in this country, on this land, monuments built on this land, were written in Kufic style of calligraphy. The earliest and foremost style of calligraphy was Kufic. Then came Naskh style of calligraphy. Then came Sul's style of calligraphy. Then came then came Nastaliq style, which was invented in 15th century. 15th century, and this particular style was invented by Khwaja Mir Ali Tabrizi, who made it a finer style to suit the subtleties of Persian literature, having very delicacies in their strokes and sharp endings. So Nastaliq came to India. So during the time of Turkish Sultan, we had we had the uh, Kufic styles of calligraphy, Kufic style of calligraphy, then Naskh style, then Sul's style, then during the Mughal period came the Nastaliq style of calligraphy. So I would like to share my screen to show you how the inscriptions can adorn the monuments of in Delhi or elsewhere, and with the help of those, you will be in a position to appreciate that how the inscriptions look like, and how on a monument inscriptions are placed to add the beauty of that particular monument. In a minute or two, I'll share my screen with you so that you can see how the inscriptions are placed on on different monuments. I'd like to ask viewers that my screen is visible to you.
It is visible, sir.
Yes. So if you can see the monumentalness calligraphy on the screen, it is from the grand uh, Minar, which is actually a victory tower built by Qutbuddin Aibak after they won the battle with the Prithviraj Chauhan and established their power on the throne of Delhi. So here, this is the monumental Nas calligraphy, huge letters, nearly of the size of a human height, and there are 7 bands on the entire Qutub Minar or say victory top. So I was just telling you about the foremost style of calligraphy was Kufi. So here you can see this this particular band looks like a floral band is actually the Kufic style of calligraphy. Its upper stroke, vertical strokes were twined together like a ribbon of a say we can say gift of say birthday gift or something like that, or the way the way the
Professor Khwaja,
the way
can you,
the
Professor Khwaja, can you just zoom on this also, because this is very fascinating when you tell us about Sulz and Kufik and Nastaliq on the monuments. Everybody would love to learn that and know. Can you also zoom on those when you are
IIH. I'll try. I'll try.
and
Definitely.
speak a little louder,
I see.
because I have to switch off my air conditioner all the time
Okay. Okay. Okay.
and to hear you. Yes, I think this is very nice.
This is
And here with your cursor, because you have come to the very juicy and interesting part of your
yes.
lecture.
Yes.
So,
This is
yes,
this
this is
is a
perfect.
band of
Thank
Kufi
you.
style. Quranic verses are written, and their say vertical strokes are twined together as if ladies plait their tail the way the vertical strokes are written here. And this is I have already told you this is the monumental Nask style of calligraphy done on the screen before the Quwwatul Islam mosque near Qutub Minar. Now I would tell you that how an epigraphical band decorate a huge monument. This is the example of Buland Darwaza from Fatehpur Sikri, built by Emperor Mughal Emperor Akbar when he say say won the Gujarat province from the Sultans of Gujarat. 1575, he came back to Akbarabad, say to Agra, and decided to build a new city of victory, which is even now called Fatehpur, the city of victory. So he constructed a huge Buland Darwaza, and the entire facade of Buland Darwaza is decorated with the Sul's style of calligraphy. Of course, if you want to appreciate the architecture of that particular Buland Darwaza, you can find yellow sandstone, red kota stone, and above the top there are domes with the marble. So entire facade is decorated with the Sul's style of calligraphy of the time of Akbar. Within the Fatehpur Sikri fort, there is a big mosque called Jama Masjid. So Jama Masjid say central mihrab and its say what you can say frame of that central mihrab is decorated with the golden letters written in the navy blue color, the central mihrab of the Fatehpur Sikri mosque. So this is another example when an epigraphic band can decorate a monument or a central arch. So time flows, and then you can say the death never forgives anybody, never spares anybody. A time came when Akbar died, and his son Jahangir built a massive tomb for him, and it is situated at Sikandara before entering to Agra city. So in the northern wall, there is a decoration, say floral decoration, and the grapes are drawn on the wall. But below that, the entire inner side of the tomb is decorated with the Quranic verses written on the navy blue background with the golden letters. So this is this is Sikandara, the tomb of Akbar. Then, of
So,
course,
Khwaja, again, can you, while you're telling them souls, point out just quickly the salient features like you told our students?
ah,
The straight vertical, when you
I
don't
thought
have to
that,
talk about 15,000 scripts,
I
there's
thought
not
that
such time, but
it was
maybe
not needed.
souls.
It was not needed to go deep to the style and its feature.
No, no,
That's
no.
why I could not mention. But
Professor
here I
Khwaja, they cannot be there. I said they have to
yes,
join the department
yes.
to go deep.
I know.
But just a little bit, Sul, Kufik, Sul's, Nask, and Nastali. Just, please.
Definitely. I'll
Thank
touch
you.
upon it.
Thank you.
So earlier, when Kufic style was being written on the monuments, so naturally it was very difficult, even very difficult to write and very difficult to read. So people started telling that there should be a style which could be uh, read with ease and could be understood by the common people. Need not that only graphic artists and the calligraphers and khattat should know and appreciate it. So Nask style of calligraphy came in, and after that, side by side, there was the most elegant and beautiful style of writing invented by Ibn Makla at say city of Kufa in Iraq. He was a very talented graphic artist coming from Baghdad, settled down at Kufa. He invented two styles, Naskh and Sul's style of calligraphy. This is Sul's style of calligraphy, with its name even we can say that his name depicts the principle involved in writing Sul's style of calligraphy. Sul's is one third. So there is an effort made that vertical strokes are three times of the lateral stroke. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Just I'll tell you. Here, with the help of the cursor, you can see this is this is Swad is a letter, but Alif is three times of the lateral stroke. Here is the lateral stroke of Swad, Ha, Wow, but the Alif is three times of the lateral stroke. Vertical stroke is three times of the lateral stroke. This is the ratio. It is applied geometry involved in writing Sulci style of calligraphy. So on the Taj Mahal, on the southern gate, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is written over here. The inscription starts from here on all the four sides and inside of the Taj Mahal, even of the tomb of Mumtaz Mahal. The entire panels are written by Abdul Haq Amanat Khan Shirazi, the court calligrapher of Emperor Shah Jahan. So it was completed in 1648 CE, and uh, Shah Jahan gave lofty jagirs and inam lands to Abdullah Hamad Khan Shirazi, and also given a title of Amanat, because whatever say dream he had, he saved it, and say converted into a building and a calligraphy on Taj Mahal. So that's why with the work he has been assigned and completed it. The name of Amanat, the title of Amanat Khan was given, though he was not a Pathan, he was not a Khan, he was from coming from Shiraz, but here in India there was a style that every officer is given an epithet of Khan. So here he was given the title of Amanat Khan Shirazi. So Amanat Khan Shirazi also composed Persian poetry, who used this Amanat as his pen name. So this is Taj Mahal, and the calligraphy done is of the third style is Suls. Suls. Suls style of calligraphy. So during Shah Jahan period only, when he populated a new city as his capital and named it as शाहजहानाबाद शाहजहानाबाद, जिसको आजकल हम पुरानी दिल्ली या दिल्ली 6 कहते हैं। उसका असल नाम है शाहजहान आबाद, क्योंकि शाहजहां ने उसे आबाद किया। दिस दैट टाइम इट वाज अ न्यू सिटी, नाउ इट हैज बिकम एन ओल्ड सिटी, बट दैट टाइम इट वाज अ न्यू सिटी founded on the bank of Yamuna river, and name was given Shahjahanabad. This was the capital of Shah Jahan. So this mosque was built in 1656 CE, and you can say the Jama Masjid is the
Sir, one
largest
second, sir.
mosque
Hello.
on. Ha,
What is the difference between that?
hello.
Uh,
Uh,
can you able my voice?
yes, I hear your voice.
What is the difference between Taj Mahal calligraphy and Jimma Masri calligraphy?
Which calligraphy you want difference?
Taj Mahal and Jimma Masudi.
Uh, I have not just now shared that calligraphy on the Juma Masjid. I'll first share the calligraphy done on the say central mihrab of the calligraphy. Then I'll discuss difference between the calligraphy done on Taj Mahal during Mughal period and calligraphy done on Jama Masjid there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Let me share one slide with you.
Okay.
This one. This one. First you see it, you appreciate it, and after I finish, say my commentary on this calligraphy, please be online. I'll tell you what is the difference between calligraphy done on Taj Mahal and calligraphy done on Jama Masjid Delhi. Okay, this is the central mihrab of Jama Masjid. So this particular calligraphy was not done by Abdullah Amanat Khan Shirazi. It was done by Nuruddin Ahmad. Nuruddin Ahmad, another celebrated calligrapher attached to the court of Shah Jahan. So you see, Bismillah Rahman Rahim is written, and the Quranic verses are written, and this is the central mihrab. And earlier during my class in the Indian Institute of Heritage, when I was teaching them Islamic architecture, I told them there were blooming lotus here when we have seen the Lodi Garden and the Sher Shah Jame Masjid in Purana Qila, but that particular blooming lotus which was done in black basalt, now the calligraphy has taken place. Ya Ghaffar, name of the god, is written 8 times in front of the each one, so that all the upper strokes are used by the Ya Ghaffar written from above. So here two stars are made out of this floral design. This is medallion in Islamic architecture. It is called medallion. Medallion in the medallions, the calligraphy has taken part, and at the place of the blooming lotus in black basalt, now calligraphy is done with inlay work on white marble with black stone. So now I'll come back to uh, the participant who wanted to know the difference between the calligraphy done on uh, Taj Mahal and Jama Masjid Delhi. So the difference is that category wise, both the inscriptions are inlaid, inlaid on white marble with black stone. But the difference is the hand of calligrapher. That was done by Abdul Haq Amanat Khan Shirazi. This is done by Nurullah, son of Ahmad. So, calligrapher has got its own style of laying out an inscription. So, there it was a band in the square shape on the southern arch of Taj Mahal. It was done by Abdullah Khamanat Shirazi. And another very special thing with the calligraphy of Taj Mahal on that particular band is that Abdullah Khamanat Khan Shirazi wrote it in prospective writing. You must be knowing that when the minarets and the bands go up, they narrow down. So Abdul Haq Amanat Khan Shirazi calculated it on here paper and estimated that how much narrowing down will be there on that particular band. He added that much. He say he enlarged it with the ratio of the narrowing down. So it is called prospective writing. If you just stand before the southern gate of Taj Mahal and if you see up, you won't find the band narrowing down. It is called it is called prospective writing. So Amanat Khan Shirazi has written the inscription on the southern wall, southern gate of Taj Mahal in prospective writing. The style he has adopted is Sul's style, the third style of calligraphy. Here also the style adopted by Nurullah, son of Ahmad, in Jama Masjid, Delhi, is Sul's, but with a different layout. Here, the arch is there with the definition of the Islamic architecture. Central arch is of course there, but by the side of the arch there are two medallions. Here, here Arabic verses are written in Sul style, inlaid on white marble with black, and here there are two medallions to decorate two sides of a particular arch. As Madam Anupa Pandey was talking about the nostalgic style of calligraphy, all the style and all the slides we cannot show and discuss over here, but to show you how the nostalgic is written, uh, and I have earlier told you that calligraphy was done on many things, on stone, on the gateways, on the epigraphical bands on tombs, and also on utensils and guns. This is a very rare example that on one of the guns of the time of Abul Muzaffar Muhyiddin Muhammad Aurangzeb Bahadur Ghazi, the say last emperor of the Mughal dynasty. After that, later Mughal rulers came to the throne, and decline of the Mughal dynasty was started. This was the last ruler who had his kingdom right from Kabul to near to South Kerala. This much huge dynasty he ruled. His gun, which was molded at Burhanpur, there was a factory, there was a what you can say foundry in Burhanpur. There, this gun was molded for him, and his name was written on the say copper gun. So this particular inscription is written in the Nastaliq style of calligraphy. I told you in 15th century, when the Naskh and Taliq style reached Iran with the blending of Naskh and Taliq style. Khwaja Mir Ali Tabrizi, staying at Tabriz in Iran, blended both of the styles and invented a new style of calligraphy, which is called Nastaliq style of calligraphy. It was very, say, delicate and much suited to the Persian subtleties of the Persian poetry. So its end were, say, sharp ending. So, so from then, uh, Humayun was driven out by Sher Shah Suri to Iran. When Humayun came back, along with him, few celebrated exponent of nostalgic style of calligraphy, the Khattats came to India. They got lofty post in Mughal court, and they started calligraphy in India in the style of nostalgic. So you can find during Akbar's time, during Emperor Jahangir's time, during Emperor Shah Jahan's time, during Aurangzeb's time, onwards, the epigraphs, the letters, the coins, the books, the decorative pieces of Tughra, they were all written, seals, they were all written, composed in nostalgic style of calligraphy. Now at present, when we see the books published in Persian language or in Urdu language, they are all composed, printed, written in nostalgic style of calligraphy. All the newspapers, Urdu newspapers in India and in Pakistan, they are composed in nostalgic style of calligraphy. So now here we come back to the screen when I'll be in an enlarged form to talk to you. So now now I've told about different dynasties, about the different styles of calligraphy which came to India, and the importance of the epigraphs, of what material and what things they added to our say knowledge of history. But I tell you few very interesting things about the information epigraphs given us. The first thing I would like to tell you that, as you know in the history, that uh, Jalaluddin Firoz Shah's nephew Alauddin Khalji, on the bank of Ganges, murdered his uncle and grabbed the power. In the same way, Alauddin Khalji's nephew Ikrit Khan attacked, uh, uh, tried to murder Alauddin Khalji and wanted to grab his sultanate. So this particular thing happened in 1300 CE, when Alauddin Khalji was already on the throne. But that bid was not successful. He could not kill Alauddin, and he was taken prison, uh, uh, taken to prison, and here he was given the say death penalty, and he was. But in near Allahabad city, an inscription was found which says that Akrit Khan was Muzaffar Adil Azam Akrit Khan Sultan. This particular inscription shows that Akrit Khan had carved out a sultanate for himself, and he himself he himself given the title of a sultan in that particular inscription. That particular inscription is the only inscription which says that there was a Khalid Khan who declared himself as sultan and wanted to rule in that particular area. But as that inscription is a fragment, cannot give the boundaries of its sultanate. That's why we cannot say that where exactly his sultanate was. But this inscription is the only source to say that Ikrib Khan declared himself as Sultan in the Khalji dynasty. Uh, there is a confusion about so many things in the history, but our epigraphs cleared it. There is another notification of the time of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He, this particular inscription was copied from Khambat, Gujarat. It is dated 1361 CE. Firoz Shah Tughlaq invaded Jajnagar, and his invasion was successful. He came back with bounty and so many elephants and say, many say a great collection of wealth he came back with. So there was a notification placed at different places in that time. So there were other notifications also, but this particular notification was found in Khambat, which is 13 dated 1361 CE. So the information contained in that notification is the official notification from Firoz Shah Tughlaq. As you are very much interested in medieval history, you must have written so many books written by our great historians and scholars. There is one book written by Kanun Go, famous historian. He has written about he has written uh, history of Sher Shah Suri. Another writer, he has written Tarikh-e Sher Shahi. So in both the histories, there is no exact year when Sher Shah Suri declared him as king or sultan. But there is one inscription, a Persian epigraph, which was copied from near Patna. He gives the date of his declaring as 1539 AD. So this particular inscription cleared all the confusion about the accession of Sher Shah Suri to the throne of Delhi. So such informations are contained in our epigraphs, and there cannot be another source to give that information. For example, another very important inscription I copied from near Jaisalmer. There is a garden called uh, Bada Bagh, Bada Bagh near Jaisalmer. So I was on my tour to explore Persian inscription. I reached there. It was hot summer. I tried, and I could find an inscription of Akbar's time written by Masoom Nami Bakkari. Masoom Nami Bakkari was famous noble and historian and also a Hakim of the time of Akbar. He was one of the nobles of Akbar's time. So he was then envoy of Akbar to Iraq in Arabia. So Akbar started from Akbarabad or Fatehpur Sikri and was coming down to invade Burhanpur on the bank of Tapti River. So he sent a message and asked Nami to come to Burhanpur. So Nami started from Iraq, and at every place he put one inscription. The inscription found here in Jaisalmer says that in age 1008 I came on the order of Zille Ilahi, and I am bound to go to Burhanpur in Deccan on the bank of river Tapti. I stayed for a while. So while his stay over here, he was a good calligrapher. He wrote one couplet of Persian and written that I passed from this place and wanted to go to Burhanpur. So he reached Burhanpur. Akbar invaded Burhanpur and won the fort of Asir from the Faruqi Sultans of Khandesh. And on the rock on the Asir fort. Again, Masum Nami Bakari wrote that I reached here, Zille Ilahi won this kingdom, and now he is the Lord and King of Asirgarh and Burhanpur also. So this important inscription was written on a plank, and this information is contained in that inscription only. And I'll tell you Jahangir's rebellion. Uh, आप तमाम को ये झूठी खबर दी गई कि अनारकली के लिए जहांगीर ने बगावत कर दी। तो हमारी मेडिवल हिस्ट्री में तारीखों में अनारकली का कहीं जिक्र ही नहीं। इट इज़ अ प्योर फिक्शन। लेकिन लेकिन I'll tell you about one inscription which records the rebellion of Jahangir. What was the reason? I don't know. The reason also not given in the inscription itself also. But it is recorded that Jahangir was addressed with lofty title and given the epithet of Shah Salim. By that time, Akbar was very much there in Akbarabad. He was live. Akbar died in 1605, but here, this inscription is dated 1604. So we have the record that uh, Jahangir rebelled and he stayed down in Allahabad, and there, along with him, there were so many nobles. Abdullah Mushki Qalam was along with him on in one of the pillars in the fort of Allahabad. The entire genealogy of Jahangir is written around that pillar with with the pen of Abdullah Mushki Qalam Jahangir Shahi. So it is recorded in the history, but the inscription from a place near Patna says that Jahangir rebelled even when Akbar was on the throne. So it is recorded in one of the inscription, not recorded elsewhere. One Sultan of the Khalji dynasty of the uh, Mandu is recorded. Uh, a place is there, Alhanpur, near Ranthambore Fort. There is one mosque. In that mosque, there is one inscription which records that this particular mosque was built during the time of Fiddan Shah, Alauddin Waddin, Alauddin Waddin Fiddan Shah as Sultan al Khalji. His brother Ghiyas Shah Khalji was already ruling from Mandu, but he himself carved out a different sultanate at Alanpur and around near Ranthambore Fort. This particular fact is known to us, to historians, by this inscription only. In no official history, such type of sultanate is mentioned. So, with these examples, I wanted to tell you that no doubt epigraphs gives us information about the history, but sometimes they added new pieces of history to already known history. So this is the importance of epigraphs, and I have already told you that you see during medieval time, during modern time, and even today, people never appreciate the history written by Abul Fazl. He has written 3 volumes, Akbarnamas, 2 volume, and third is Ain Akbar, 3 volumes of Akbarnama. The people don't credit it as the authentic history because Akbar appointed him as the court historian. So uh, there was no courage in Abul Fazl's pen to write the say, factual history of. He always lauded Akbar. He always praised Akbar. He always eulogized Akbar. But another side, Abdul Qadir Vidayuni was the factual historian. He wrote the correct history, and Akbar was not happy with Abdul Qadir Badayuni. Tarikh-e-Badayuni is the authentic history of Akbar's time. So there were people who wrote correct history of the time of a particular, say, geographical quarter. So he was the priest in the Jame Masjid of Fatehpur Sikri, but Akbar say suspended him and made him to leave Fatehpur Sikri in Akbarabad. So in a very say pitiful condition, Abdul Qadir Badayuni died. So I tell you that the authentic history is written beyond the influence of any ruler. So these epigraphs sometimes give information which was not influenced by the ruling monarch. So this is the beauty and this is the authenticity of the inscription. Few dynastic inscriptions, of course, were prepared and written under the patronage of the nobles and kings. But there are hundreds of inscriptions which were out of the influence of the ruling monarch. तो ये बात हमारे शिलालेखों के बारे में कही जा सकती है कि राजा या बादशाह के इन्फ्लुएंस से दूर हट के उन्होंने सच्चाई एपिग्राफ्स में लिखी जो हमें मिली, जिसकी बुनियाद के ऊपर एक सच्ची तारीख या सच्चा इतिहास लिखा गया। इसी वजह से एपिग्राफ्स की अहमियत, उनका महत्व सबसे ज़्यादा है। इसी तरह एपिग्राफ्स के साथ सिक्कों का भी महत्व है। वो उस ज़माने की मॉनेटरी हिस्ट्री हमें बताते हैं। उस ज़माने में कौन सी मेटल इस्तेमाल हुई, उनका कन्वर्जन रेशियो क्या था, एंड they also tell about the metal value of a particular coin. They also tell about the face value of a coin. They also tell us about the conversion between the three metal formula: gold, silver, and copper. So, on number 2, the all the coins, but I'm talking about the medieval coins. Medieval coins tell us about the metal currency, official currency of sultans and Mughals, and say about the conversion between the three metals. So this is the authentic information contained in the epigraphs and also in coins. तो अब थोड़ा सा समय मैं उन लोगों के लिए भी बचा के रखना चाहता हूँ जिसमें हमारे आज के इस लेक्चर में पार्टिसिपेशन करने वाले लोग, अगर मैंने जो कुछ कहा है उसके सिलसिले से कुछ सवाल पूछना चाहें तो दे आर वेलकम।
First, I'd like to give a absolute standing ovation to a wonderful lecture. Mehak has probably given the introduction. I'm Professor Anupa Pandey. Thank you. Look at all the clapping. You sincerely deserve it. I'm Professor Emeritus in the History of Art Department and also head in charge of the Paleography, Epigraphy, and Numismatics Department. So when I interrupted in between, I apologize to the speaker and to everyone. I was just trying to get him to focus on what we want. We can keep hearing him the whole night. But this was a beautiful part I wanted you to bring out. The other thing is, I absolutely, all of you who are here, you'll have time for questions. I want to say one thing, that this conclusion was absolutely brilliant. When he spoke of Mughal, it is true, I want to say, that the Akbarnama miniature paintings of the manuscript are beautiful. But yes, they do eulogize Akbar. But Dr. Khwaja, एक बात है.
जी,
If you compare the miniature paintings of Akbarnama to those of Jahangir, there is a world of a difference. There is more historicity with Akbar. वो कभी हेलो नहीं होता. He is a very great human being, but not divine, not chosen by the mandate of God. जैसे जहांगीर में हमेशा हेलो standing on the globe.
never wanted,
But
never
let me finish.
wanted.
आपने एक बात बड़े पते की एंड में कही थी कि ये तो सारी कोटली पेंटिंग्स है ना, आपने, एंड आई नो आपके पास खजाना है ऑन दी लेसर नोन एपिग्राफ्स, and there are so many of nobility or even the common man, which uh, throw so much light on the period. And as you said, apart from royal inscriptions, a whole lot of subaltern and marginalized histories of the non-imperial can also be built up, which are very right with the epigraphs, and epigraphs can also say. So I really appreciated it
Last time,
and appreciated it.
yes, I'd like to add one thing. In the month of March, Indian Institute of Heritage organized one seminar of the lesser known parts of history or marginalized history. I presented there some direction stones
Yes.
on and around of the Ahmednagar Sultanate, which says about the direction of a particular city, which direction a particular city, to the left side, to the right side, to the back, and to the forefront. So it provided facility to travelers and traders to reach few places which were not known otherwise by any other source.
जो इंटरनेशनल हम मानते हैं अभी ट्राइलिंगुअल, वो पहले ही कर रहे थे. The department had done on sort of little bit reflecting on the subaltern histories and marginalized through epigraphs and inscriptions. Anyway, I don't wish to speak further just now. We can have a Mehek, if you are there, you can have. I also apologize to those who try to speak in between, but we have to button and ask you to please wait till the speaker finishes. Since I am one of the coordinators along with Mehek, that gives me some right. Even then, I apologize. Mehek, can we, Dr. Khwaja, if we can have some questions, if you don't mind?
Definitely, yes, sir. I invite
All
my
right, Mehek,
participants of this
maybe we
lecture.
can have a few questions.
I'll welcome question, but it should be related to the topic decided for this lecture.
Yes, yes, yes. And
No
on the
other question,
separate.
irrelevant question about the history, I cannot entertain.
All right, Mehek.
So,
I had a question. Sorry.
Anushri, please message your questions and I'll ask them on your behalf. I can already see your
Okay.
message. I'll just ask that.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first question is from Nihar Ranjan Patra, who is asking, we know that forged inscriptions are a reality in Sanskrit and Dravidian epigraphy. Do we find forged Persian or Arabic inscriptions in India? If yes, what was their nature? Are they modern forgeries or forgeries of the times they purport to be? Does paleography play a role in identifying forged Persian or Arabic inscriptions?
No, there was a possibility during ancient period that for the sake of having some grants in their name, people forged copper plates. But in the Arabic and Persian inscription, it is very difficult to forge an inscription because all the styles of calligraphy have got their chronology and style. You cannot. I'm a skilled calligrapher, but I cannot
I
write the
totally
Nastaliq of the
agree.
Akbar's
जिसने
time in
भी
one inscription.
I totally agree. जिसने भी अभी एक क्वेश्चन पूछा है भाई, it is not like making a forged miniature painting. वो भी 120 का मैं एक पकड़ लिया. My son told me तुम्हारे against heavy litigation हो जाएगी. You will be chased to the end of the world. इसलिए चुप रहो. So that's another thing. But जितना एफर्ट लगाएंगे वो लोग भाई नस्तालिक और नस की इंस्क्रिप्शन फोर्ज करना, उनके नुक्ते इधर उधर चले जाते हैं
नहीं,
कभी यहाँ
नुक्तों की
कभी
भी
वहाँ.
बात नहीं, नुक्तों की भी
And
बात नहीं.
they are
मैं
so
बात
inventive
करूंगा
and
मैं बात
creative.
करूंगा हाँ, मैं बात करूंगा कशीद और दायरे की. जो लोग उस जमाने में रहते थे, वो एवोल्यूशन का हिस्सा थे. वो उस जमाने का खत उसी जमाने में लिख सकते थे. मैं आज का कैलीग्राफर हूँ, मैं पिछले जमाने की नस्तालिक नहीं लिख सकता.
और दूसरी चीज डॉक्टर ख्वाजा, इतना एफर्ट, टाइम, मनी फिर किस चीज के लिए करेंगे जब तक गेन नहीं है. जब आप सबसे लीडिंग कैलीग्राफर है नहीं कर पाएंगे तो दूसरे को तो तुरंत पकड़ में आ
पकड़
जाएगी.
में आ जाएंगे.
और
पकड़ में.
दूसरी चीज जो संस्कृत इंस्क्रिप्शंस भी हैं बाय द वे, जो अर्लियर ब्राह्मी थी, ब्राह्मी के बाद सिद्ध मात्र का एंड ऑल, इवन अर्लियर नागरी, देखते ही पता लग जाता है.
अभी देखिए,
आई
एक
डोंट
बहुत
नो
बड़ा
ये आप लोगों ने कहीं पढ़ा है ये
नहीं,
तो.
एक बहुत बड़ा वाकया है. हमारे नेशनल म्यूजियम में ये घटना घटी थी. उस वक्त डॉक्टर देसाई वॉज मेंबर ऑफ द परचेज कमेटी ऑफ नेशनल म्यूजियम। तो किसी ने ला के कहा कि ये इंस्क्रिप्शन सल्तनत पीरियड के हैं। तो डॉक्टर देसाई ने एक नज़र देखी, उससे कहा कि ये इंस्क्रिप्शन सल्तनत पीरियड का इसलिए नहीं हो सकता कि इसके अंदर नस्तालीग का इन्फ्लुएंस नज़र आ रहा है, आप सल्तनत पीरियड की कैलीग्राफी कर ही नहीं सकते।
किसने पूछा था मैं के क्वेश्चन? नाम?
वो वो
निहार रंजन पात्रा मैम।
निहार रंजन जी, आप ऐसा करिए, ज्वाइन द एमए कोर्स, विद इन 2 years आप ही बता देंगे कि ये फोर्ज्ड है या नहीं।
नहीं,
हमारे
आप किसी
स्टूडेंट्स
दिन
बता देंगे, इट्स नॉट
आप
डिफिकल्ट।
किसी दिन आप किसी दिन इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हेरिटेज की कैलीग्राफी की वर्कशॉप ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। वहाँ मैं तमाम चीज़ों का फ़र्क आपको समझाऊंगा और आपके हाथ में कलम दूंगा और
एंड
आपसे
कभी कभी
कहूंगा कि आप
सी पीपल,
इसकी नकल
आई
कर दें।
आल्सो वांट टू यूज दिस फोरम टू से सर्टेन थिंग्स। आजकल बहुत सारे इस तरह के स्पाइसी, आई डोंट नो ये कहाँ लिखा है, आर्टिकल्स न्यूज़पेपर्स होते हैं, बिकॉज इट साउंड सो इंटरेस्टिंग। तो लोग के टेंशन पर बी वेरी मुश्किल है ये बहुत। और इतना टाइम एंड एफर्ट आप लगेंगे, दे शुड बी सम वेरी बिग स्टेक।
And somebody is asking
बात भी आप
about
पकड़े जाएंगे। सो
about
एनीवे,
the
we'll go
difference.
on to
हाँ,
the next question. I think
नहीं,
we've
there
got
was a
enough
message.
for this one.
There was a message. He asked difference between the Sultanate and the Mughal calligraphy. So very briefly, I'll tell you that every style of calligraphy has got its chronology. During Sultanate period, earlier they were Kufi, then monumental Nazm, then Sulh. Nastaliq was not there during Mughal period when Humayun came back from Iran with the help of the Safavid kings. Along with him came few celebrated exponents of Nastaliq calligraphy. They started writing all the things: Farman, coins, inscriptions, books, Waslis, Tughras, everything in Nastaliq. So there is a lot of difference between Naskh, Sulh, and Nastaliq calligraphy. So we can say very well with exactitude that during Mughal period, Nastaliq was the most loved and used style of calligraphy. In Mughal period, we find Nastaliq style, and in Sultanate period, we can see on the monuments. Or someday you come to my presentation in Indian Institute of Heritage, I'll show you the evolution of the calligraphy. In Sultanate period, we found Kufi, Naskh, and Sulh style.
एक क्वेश्चन और मैंने देखा था,
जी,
आई डोंट नो किसका था, कि
welcome.
कुरानिक इंस्क्रिप्शंस हैं, तो आप एक आध आयत बता दीजिए, वो जो मैयत के समय जो होती है, जो लोग ताजमहल तो देखने जाते हैं सदर्न गेट में,
हाँ, हाँ,
सदर्न गेट
वो
में
असल में ये
सूरह
है,
यासीन,
ये वो है
सूरह
कि
यासीन है या
यासीन,
कौन सी है?
वो देखिए
आई
वो
थिंक किसी ने पूछा है ना महक के क्वेश्चन।
हाँ,
सर जो
मैं भी
क्वेश्चन है, are the
मैं
inclusion of Quranic inscriptions in the monuments
मैं आपको बताता हूँ, मैं
है
आपको
कि नहीं?
बताता हूँ।
एक मिनट, मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्वेश्चन है कि नहीं?
जी,
मैम क्वेश्चन है, are the inclusion of Quranic inscriptions
Arabic in
मैम
एक एक
are
करके,
the
otherwise is getting confusing.
ma'am the question was, are the inclusion of Quranic inscriptions in the monuments meant to indicate any divine sanction on them, or like in the case of Taj Mahal, to mirror the motif of paradise on earth?
पैराडाइज का नहीं है, आप बता दीजिए भाई, यही इस तरह की किताबें पढ़ पढ़ के दे नीड टू हैव सच लेक्चर्स।
नहीं
आप बता
नहीं
दीजिए सदर्न गेट में जो मैयत
नहीं
वाला
नहीं नहीं
इंस्क्रिप्शन है सूरह
मैं
यासीन,
मैं एक बात
उसका
आपको बताना
कॉन्टेक्स्ट
चाहता
में आप
हूँ।
बता
मैं
दीजिए
एक
2
बात आपको
मिनट।
बताना चाहता हूँ कि आयोवा यूनिवर्सिटी से प्रोफेसर बेगले ने पहली बार लिखा कि आयतल कुर्सी में अल्लाह की कुर्सी जन्नत में है, ऐसा कहा गया। और वो कुर्सी को लोग अब तलाश में है कि उस कुर्सी के नीचे ही हमारे बाप दादाओं की कब्र बनाए। वो उसके अंदर कोई कोई सच्चाई नहीं थी। लेकिन मैं ये कहता हूँ ताजमहल के सिलसिले से कि ये तो आपको इख्तियार है कि जो भी एडिफाइस आप बनाते हैं, इट इज़ अप टू यू, यू डिसाइड what exactly you want to be written on that particular monument. So, but in the mosque, generally the first chapter and Ayat al-Kursi is written, Surah Rahman is written, but particularly, pertinently on the tombs, Surah Yasin is always written. Surah Yasin is always written. So on the southern gate of Taj Mahal,
ख्वाजा जी आपके पास है वो साधन गेट का जो सुल्स में आपने दिखाया था,
सुल्स में
उसको
मैंने जो
रेफरेंस
दिखाया आपको,
बता
तो
दीजिए।
उसके अंदर यासीन वल कुरानिल हकीम इन्नका लमिनल मुरसलीन अला सिराति मुस्तकीम तंजीलल अजीजुर रहीम। ये पूरी आयत है, बहुत बड़ी आयत है। मतलब पूरे दरवाजे पे खत्म होके पीछे के दरवाजे
आयत
तक।
बड़ी है, पर जरा सा दो लाइन में बता
दो लाइन
दीजिए
मैंने
उनको
पढ़ा
क्यों
आपके लिए।
लगाया, उसका
जी
कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्यों इतना फिटिंग था, ताकि वो
जी
ताजमहल
जी।
देखने
वो
जाएंगे अपने
इसलिए भी
फ्रेंड्स
फिटिंग
के
है
साथ तो बता
कि
देंगे।
यासी बिस्मिल्लाह औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम यासीन वल कुरआनिल हकीम इन्नका लमिनल मुरसलीन अला सिरातिम मुस्तकीम तंजीलुर अजीजुर रहीम। ये तो मैंने दो आयतें पढ़ी आपको। ऐसी उसके अंदर मेरे ख्याल से
नहीं, बहुत
75-80
सारी
के
है।
करीब
आप
आया।
दो दो उसका समरी दो लाइन में बता देंगी हमारे लिसनर्स को। आपके पास टाइम कम है, एक आध क्वेश्चन और होंगे, इसलिए पूछ रही हूँ,
नहीं, मैं
क्योंकि
एक और चीज
ताजमहल
इसी
फ्रीक्वेंटेड
कॉन्टेक्स्ट की
बहुत
बताना
होता है।
चाहता हूँ, इसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट की बताना चाहता हूँ कि एक बहुत ही कंट्रोवर्शियल मस्जिद है जो टर्की में है, इस्तांबुल की। इस्तांबुल में रहमान मोहम्मद द थर्ड ऑफ द ऑटोमन एम्पायर इन्वेडेड इट एंड कॉन्कर्ड इट। तो अर्लियर इट वाज अ चर्च। तो चर्च में क्राइस्ट वगैरह की जो कुछ तस्वीरें थी उन्होंने उसको निकाल लिया, और जहाँ शैंडेलियर लटकाते हैं वहाँ अराउंड इट, when they used to have the chandelier around it in the circular form, they placed one inscription in Arabic. So they preferred to like a verse which says that wallahu nurus samawati wal ard, अल्लाह जमीन और आसमान की रोशनी है। वो कुछ और भी लिख सकते थे, लेकिन चूंकि वो शैंडेलियर लटका रहे हैं वहां, इसलिए उसकी रेलिवेंट आयत उन्होंने लिखी कि वल्लाहु नूरु समावाति वल अर्द। तो in the religious inscriptions, relevance of that a particular verse is also considered before writing on a monument. किसी मस्जिद में सूरह यासीन नहीं लिखते, वहाँ अल्लाह की तारीफ बयान करने वाले, लेकिन मकबरे पे सूरह यासीन लिखते हैं। क्योंकि क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ का तरीका है कि जब आदमी आखिरी सांसें लेता है तो उसको सूरह यासीन सुनाई जाती है। तो जो आदमी किसी मकबरे पे जाएगा, अगर वो सूरह यासीन ही पढ़ दे तो मरने वाले को उसका सवाब मिल जाएगा।
महक, और कोई क्वेश्चंस है? और
So the next question is by
maybe one or
Vikram
two
Rao.
questions more, महक, उसके बाद।
Yes, ma'am.
थैंक यू।
Vikram Rao is asking, does ASI have a systematic record of Islamic calligraphy writing on soft perishable materials like paper, parchment, something equivalent to Epigraphia Indo-Islamica for inscriptions?
नहीं, there are 2-3 different things you have mentioned. Archaeological Survey of India has got records of the stone inscriptions. Epigraphy branch is responsible to copy and preserve the impression of the imperishable material, or say epigraphs with us. The other material, for example, the manuscript, books, tugra, formas, they are preserved by the archives of India, National Archives of India, or some of them are preserved with the National Museum. Then, then comes the Epigraphia Indica and annual report. Epigraphia Indica is edited by the Director Epigraphy, in which the research articles on the epigraphs are edited in the form of the article, and in annual report, all the inscriptions copied in one financial year are noticed. Only gist of that particular epigraph is written in English. In Epigraphia Indica, when article is written, the text, Persian text of the epigraph is given, transliteration is given, translation is given, and the historical background of the personages and places mentioned in that particular to help writing medieval history. So this is the difference between preserving the things and dealing with the things. by ASI and its different departments.
Sir, another question is by Miss Anushri Deshpande, who is asking if you could recommend books for Persian epigraphs that can be eye openers in a true mirror of our authentic history.
It is very difficult because now it is if you have asked this question, now it has become compulsory for you to learn Persian language so that whatever is written you will be in a position to read it.
Yes, I've learned Persian.
Earlier I have told you Waqiyat Darul Hukumat Delhi, Asarus Sanadid, Serul Manazil are the books which are written on the epigraphs. There are so many other books, but you will have to be to develop such a skill which help you to read uh, Persian texts. Then only you can understand. And otherwise also there is an alternate. All the volumes of Epigraphia Indo-Muslimica or Epigraphia Indica Arabic and Persian supplement are with the library. They are written in English. You can read. But text you can read with the help of the diacritical marks when transliterated in the Epigraphia Indica.
Sir, Ratrai Bhaumik is asking two questions.
Yes,
So,
Ravi Shankar is here.
Yeah. No, uh, I want to heartily congratulate you.
Oh,
It's always a treat, great hearing to you. So I thought, through I was sitting and enjoying your talk. Wonderful. It got, I went nostalgic, remembering, I feel we were just like uppers and reverse side of a coin. So it was really wonderful. Khaja
Dr.
Sahab,
Ravi Shankar,
आपको, uh,
Dr. Ravi Shankar, if you don't say these fine words, even then I can understand you are my valuation. I know
no,
your
that's
heart.
it's all right. But I thought, as a concluding part, the it was really good, so good. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I also see my friend Shabbir Qureshi, also one of the participants in this lecture. I welcome him. I welcome him. Most oftenly, I meet him in the Nagpur city. He's my very good friend and my well-wisher. And
Meg,
and
are there any more questions?
yes, ma'am, there are a few more questions. One is,
जल्दी
yes, yes,
जल्दी
please, please.
जल्दी जल्दी कर लीजिए हाँ ले
ma'am,
लीजिए
there
Zafarullah Khan wants to ask.
oh, sir, he's asking that if
Welcome, Zafar.
Muhammad,
Welcome.
सर उन्होंने लिखा है कि मोहम्मद गौरी के सिक्के पर कलमा संस्कृत में लिखा हुआ है.
नहीं, ये जो सिक्का आप दिखा रहे हैं, ये मोहम्मद गजनवी का सिक्का है. सुल्तान महमूद गजनवी का सिक्का है. ये मोहम्मद गौरी का सिक्का नहीं है. उनको हम भारत के सिक्कों में शुमार नहीं करते. महमूद गजनवी ने महमूद गजनवी issued this coin from Lahore. He changed the name of Lahore as Mahmudpur, and he invaded, taken well, went back to Ghazna. So we never consider his coin as the coin of Indian subcontinent or Indian soil. So I never mentioned it in my coins of Sultanate period. He is not Muhammad Ghori, he is Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi.
एक कोई शायद मिस भौमिक का है क्वेरीज आप जल्दी से आंसर कर रहे हैं तो बहुत अभी मैंने एक देखा
Sir, one question is, were Arabic inscriptions intended for the masses or primarily for the learned elite, and how does that affect our interpretations of their purpose?
No. Yeah, it is not correct that it is for the elites, but the notification in the form of epigraphs issued by kings are for general public. You must be knowing that in that time there were no newspapers, no, say, other media. So they want to inform general public about the policy of the king, about the taxation formula of the king, or any new thing they want to announce. So it was written on the inscriptions and placed here and there in cities and rural pockets. But in rural pockets, when we get inscriptions, they were not sponsored or placed by the kings or dynasties. They were placed by the members of the public, members of the society. In those inscriptions, we find so many facts about the then history.
प्रभजोत के अलावा दूसरा ले लेना, प्रभजोत अलग से भी बात कर लेगा।
प्रभजोत तो मुझसे यूं ही फोन पे बात कर सकता है।
ठीक है, एक लास्ट एक और ले लो।
वेलकम।
ये 6 बज चुके हैं
सर।
हमने 4:05 पे शुरू किया था, तो वो 5
ठीक है,
मिनट भी
अगर
कॉम्पनसेट।
हमारे स्पीकर बोलने को तैयार है तो ठीक है, 2-3 क्वेश्चन और ले लो प्लीज।
वेलकम।
So while the changes of calligraphy shift from Kufic to Naskh, do we see shifts in aesthetic priorities as well?
देखिए कि when we talk about the aesthetic part of it, we should also consider calligraphy done on paper. The calligraphy done on the stone, on the facade of the monument, the purpose is different. When you talk about the calligraphy done on paper, you can talk much about the aesthetic value of a particular panel, because the first decorated page of a manuscript, then one wasli, आपको पता होगा कि इस्लाम में तस्वीरें बनाना मना है, तो अपने घर की दीवार को और मस्जिद की दीवार को और महल की दीवार को कैसे सजाएंगे? उसमें एक तुगरा वसली पे कागज पे लिख के उसको सजाएंगे। अब उनके पास ये एबिलिटी भी है कि वो कलर्स में उसको डेकोरेट कर सकते हैं। इंस्क्रिप्शन के अंदर कोई कलर नहीं, इस कागज पे दे हैव गॉट द लिबर्टी टू यूज डिफरेंट कलर्स। वो उसे मुहज्जब भी कर सकते हैं, मतलब ज़हाबा यानी सोना, सोने से बॉर्डर दे सकते हैं, फिर उसके अंदर प्रेशियस जेम्स को पीस के उसके बैकग्राउंड को डेकोरेट कर। अभी हम मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट में कैलीग्राफी की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, किसी दिन उसकी भी बात करेंगे। तो मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट के कुछ जो बेहतरीन नमूने हैं अपने लेक्चर में मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा।
सर आई थिंक 2 और क्वेश्चंस हैं। पहला है कि बहामनी कॉइन्स पर कौन सी कैलीग्राफी स्टाइल है?
नस्ख स्टाइल ऑफ कैलीग्राफी।
और सर दूसरा है कि to what extent do the epigraphs and inscriptions of Delhi incorporate Persian literary traditions, particularly poetic excerpts or influences from canonical authors such as Rumi, Hafiz, Ferdowsi and Sadi, whose works like the Shahnama, Masnavi and Gulistan represent the golden age of Persian literature?
To inform you that up to the Khalji dynasty, the official language of India was Arabic. But later on, Khalji onwards, or next rulers after Khalji, they had official language as Persian. So naturally, for their court of the sultans and kings, they were nobles coming from Uzbekistan, Persia, different cities of Persia, Afghanistan, and Turkey. They were all Persian knowing people. So while composing text of books, text of inscriptions, they used famous couplets from celebrated Persian poets. Here in inscription we find so many verses from Hafiz, so many verses from Rumi, so many verses from Sheikh Sadi's Bustan, Gulistan. There are so many examples. When we talk particularly about the contents of the verses of Persian poet in Indian inscription, in Persian Indian Persian inscription, we'll talk in detail. I'll have those examples with me in my presentation and I'll show you. But there are so many, and to tell you, there are so many poets who came from Persia to India. They got lofty jobs here in courts. They died over here, and their epitaph says that they were from such and such city of Persia, came down and died over here.
Sir, another question just came from Divya. Sir, do we find Tugra on Sultanate or Mughal coins? If not, could you please tell us why?
Actually, we'll have to define Tugra. What is Tugra? In Arabic language, Tagara means bird. As here on one side, drawing any living being is prohibited in Islam. But here, in the geometric form, zoomorphic form, they wanted to compose the name of the king on the head of the farman, as if it is the emblem of the government. It was started by the Suleiman the Magnificent of Turkey. So the name was given Tugra. So now everything arranged in a geometric form is now called Tugra. So in Sultanate period also we find so many Tugras, but more during the time of Mughals, because Suleiman the Magnificent was contemporary to here Mughal kings. So that trend directly came to India. So for the first time, Tugra was adopted for Farmans. Later on, it was adopted for the epitaphs and in manuscripts and for vaslis to decorate your walls, wall hangings.
Um, I would formally like to thank
Divya Chaudhary,
Dr. Khwaja so much.
Yes,
No,
doctor.
I've been, people are ticking me off for not speaking in between, but I have to apologize to them. I'm the coordinator. So I have to speak in
Divya Chaudhary has
between.
got my phone. She can directly
Your
ask me
lecture
about
was
this
so
period.
interesting and so fascinating and wonderful. So I really thank you as a great scholar and as a friend. And Mehak, uh, you may also say a line of thanks since she has been primarily coordinating everything, and also make the announcement for the next lecture,
Definitely.
uh, and what they're expected to do, because I think this time we have tried to cut. There were too many who could not get admission last time. I don't want that. So can you just tell them about the next lecture will be on numismatics?
And date also. Date
Great,
also.
fascinating topic, punch mark coins, which are still very interesting. Can you give that announcement? I will just say thank you to our speaker
Thank you very
and
much. Thank
bye
you.
to all our
I
audience.
thank all the participants and also those who ask pertinent questions to me and give me an opportunity to explain the things which were not explained in my lecture. Thank you very much for all the participants and especially
No,
to Indian Institute of Heritage who has given me opportunity to speak in this lecture. Thank you.
no, no, you have to take our students next semester also for the medieval epigraphy. So don't worry, you are a teacher. Thank you so much. Mehek, will you formally just put in a word of thanks and make the formal announcement for next time?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for this enlightening lecture, sir. It was a pleasure, as always, to have you with us. And I do wish to have you again very soon. And it was very interesting how you talked about almost everything that is there. You went from historiography to history to inscriptions and literally everything that I can think of. And it was such a pleasure to have you as always. And thank you so much for everything that you do for the department and for the institute. For the next lectures, we'll be having Dr. Amit Kumar Upadhyay from the Banaras Hindu University, who will be delivering a lecture on Panchmark coins on 16th of May. I have pinned a message which has a link to all the to the Google form where you can fill in to have any conversations with us. You can give us your email IDs there, and we will get back to you regarding the details for any upcoming lectures and the links for the same. And I've just messaged that once again on the chat. And thank you so much for being here, sir, and also all the people who very patiently listen to sir. And thank you so much, ma'am, for everything. And thank you so much.